welcome to Global Insight, where we update you on the latest events around the world. I'm Joy Adesua Iramoseli. In the main stories making global headlines right now, India's parliament to reserve 33% of seats for women. Victims of China's longest wrongful imprisonment case awarded for damages caused. U.S. President Biden announces additional $325 million worth of arms package to support Ukraine. And now we begin Global Insights today in China, where Chinese Vice President Han Zheng made a 4-point proposal for tackling world affairs in a speech at the general debate of the 78th session of the UN General Assembly yesterday. The proposal includes upholding equity and justice, maintaining peace and security, pursuing mutual benefit, delivering win-win outcomes, achieving development for all, staying open and inclusive, advancing human civilization, staying true to multilateralism, and improving global governance. And now India's parliament has approved landmark legislation that reserves 33% of the seat in its lower house and the state legislatures for women to ensure more equal representation, ending a 27-year impasse over the bill amid a lack of consensus among political parties. According to the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, during a debate in the upper house of the India's parliament last night, this will be implemented in the 2029 national elections following a new census and adjustment of voting districts after next year's poll. India's once-a-decade census was to be held in 2021, but was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. All opposition parties supported the bill and stated that the delay in its implementation is an injustice to women. They demanded it apply to the next national elections, which are due to be held before May next year. Under the legislation, the reservation of seats for women would continue for 15 years and could be extended by Parliament. Only women will be allowed to contest 33% of the seats in the election lower house of Parliament and in state legislature. Law and Justice Minister Arjun Ram Mengwal stated that women make up over 48% of India's more than 1.4 billion people, but have 15.1% representation in parliament compared with the international average of 24%. In another development, the victim of the long-known wrongful imprisonment case in China has been awarded around 7.9 million yuan, the equivalent of $1.48 million from the state. According to the verdict from the Henan High People's Court, which was seen by Kaizen Tan Zuyi, received 4.4 million yuan in compensation for more than 29 years he spent behind bars for a murder he did not commit, plus another 3.5 million yuan for the psychological damage he suffered from the ordeal. The amount was less than half of what he had asked for from the state. Elsewhere, President Joe Biden announced the U.S. will send an additional security assistance package for Ukraine valued at up to $325 million as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky concluded a second visit to Washington since Russia launched its unprovoked invasion. President Joe Biden unveiled the aid package after meeting with Zelensky at the White House. He stated that the U.S. was committed to help Ukraine build a force capable of ensuring Ukraine's long-term security, capable of deterring future threats against sovereignty, territorial integrity, and freedom. The latest round of assistance marks the 47th drawdown of equipment for Defense Department inventories for Ukraine since August 2021 and reflects the United States' enduring commitment in the face of Russian aggression. Zelensky's meeting with Biden kept the Ukrainian president's day-long tour through Washington, which also included discussions with lawmakers on Capitol Hill and a meeting with defense officials at the Pentagon. In his remark ahead of the closed-door meeting at the White House, Zelensky said that he came to Washington to strengthen Ukraine's position to defend children, families, homes, freedom, and democracy in the world. He also expressed his appreciation for the vital assistance provided by the United States to Ukraine to combat Russian terrorism. The Biden administration is continuing its support for Ukraine with the announcement of the 47th tranche of equipment to be provided from the U.S. Department of Defense inventories. This latest package, valued at an impressive $325 million, encompasses a wide range of capabilities aimed at bolstering Ukraine's defense capabilities. And finally, on Global Insights today, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has stated on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York that his main task this week is to mobilize more support for Ukraine in its war against Russia. He stated that if the United States is concerned about China and wants to pivot towards Asia, then it has to ensure that Russian President Vladimir Putin doesn't win in Ukraine. The NATO chief argued that such a scenario means that the second biggest army in Europe is on their side and will therefore help to weaken Russian army. He reiterated his support for Ukraine's NATO membership in the future, emphasizing the importance of charting a way to achieve that goal. That's it on Global Insights today. Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Joy Adesuwa Iramasele. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is Voice of the People TV, and on other social platforms at VOP TV Live. Good afternoon.